Today we'll answer the question, how much money do you save living off the grid?
Hey folks, this is Eric Muss-Barnes.
And I'm Kate Bergeron.
And welcome to the latest episode
of Luthorville.
You know, honestly, you don't really save a whole lot.
What?
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I think a lot of people really want to live off the grid for. They think, oh, I'll save all kinds of money, I won't have these utility bills. But once you kind of start to add everything up, you realize you don't necessarily save as much as you might think. For example, electricity is one of the ways where, yes, you actually will eventually save money because you'll be able to pay off the solar panels and you won't have an electric bill anymore. But a place where you won't save money is water.
Because then you're not just paying the monthly bill, you actually have to pay to get things installed and maybe driven out to your place, is that why?
Exactly.
Huh.
If you look at monthly water bills, in most places around the country, it might be, what, $20, something like that. Water bills usually aren't that high.
Mm-hmm.
But to install a well, to install the septic system that you have to install for all that water to go somewhere, it's going to cost around $20,000. It's about 10 grand for a well, it's about 10 grand for a septic system. Once you start to add that up and then you look at how many months you would be paying on a water bill, it's not even close.
And I guess now that I think about it, you're going to be driving a lot more into town, right?
Exactly. You end up spending a lot more money on gasoline, simply because it takes longer to get places.
Even if you live in LA?
Yeah. Actually, in LA, stuff is very, very close. It might take you a long time to get there because of traffic, but you don't have to go that far necessarily. It will take about a half hour just to get to a gas station from here.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the end, off-grid living might actually cost you a lot more than staying in the city.
That is highly disappointing.
You know, some people, I mean, they won't even believe that, but I can prove it. Okay, let's do the math, okay? So we need to start by looking at the essential utilities and city services that come with owning a home.
You've got electricity, water, sewer, natural gas for cooking and heating, waste and garbage pickup, telephone and internet service.
Yeah, right. Those are the 6 typical services and utilities to a house or apartment. I mean, some people get cable television too, but I haven't had cable since 1997, so that's not an expense for me. But those other things are all essentials. Did we miss anything?
No, I think we covered it all. I'd say all of that's pretty important stuff.
Yeah.
So let's look at each one and see why you'll not save any money by leaving the city. First, we have electricity. For example, for Eric's power needs, a solar-powered electrical system costs about $18,000. That's your solar panels, batteries, inverter, monitoring equipment, installation, everything. So suppose your monthly electric bill in the city is $120. Dividing that 18 grand by $120 means it'll take 150 months or 12 and a half years to break even on the solar panels.
Yeah. So not only does it take a long time, but of the 6 things I mentioned, solar power is the only one that will eventually provide a savings. See, when it comes to water, you might never break even. Depending upon where you live, water and sewer bills can be as low as $20 a month. Now, drilling a water well and installing the plumbing can cost $10,000. And then a septic system can cost another $10,000 for a total of 20 grand. So if you divide 20 grand by $20 a month, that means it would take 83 years to break even on your water supply.
So you have to live to 100 and start building a house like at 12?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't break even until you die. So you have no savings for water.
No.
Now, going off grid does help you get rid of your natural gas bill. You can easily eliminate a monthly gas bill and run everything on electricity. But again, a gas bill in warm climates like Southern California might average $5 in summers and $30 in the winter and balance out to about $15 a month year-round. It's not a very big savings. Over 50 years, that's only saving $9,000.
Yeah. So not only is going off-grid more expensive, but it's a lot less convenient. You'll spend far more money in gasoline or a longer commute. All right? You won't even have a garbage truck coming by your house. So you'll have to store your trash somewhere and haul it to a landfill yourself once a week or once a month. That costs money too, typically around $15 to $20 per load. You'll likely need a trailer or a truck to do that work too. So there's another expense of a few hundred to thousands of dollars for a trash trailer. Obviously, it's a lot easier to have your trash picked up from your curb by the city. Far easier than driving to a landfill yourself.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Telephone and internet costs are about the same though, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no way to have a landline since there's no telephone poles anywhere near you, but with a wireless connection or a cell phone, your internet bill remains about the same.
Yeah.
And have you actually tested your cell phone connection on your property? You have, right?
Yes, I have tested it, and it does work. So for the phone bill, that doesn't change no matter where you go. Nevertheless, once you add it all up, the financial investment and the time investments make living in the wilderness a lot more costly.
So to add it all up, in 50 years, you'd save $9,000 in natural gas and $54,000 in electricity. You'd lose $8,000 on water and $48,000 on trash. Gasoline for a car works out to an extra $56 per week just to drive into town once a day if gas is $4 a gallon and your vehicle is about a 30 miles per gallon vehicle. And over 50 years, that $56 a week becomes $145,600.
Yeah.
In 50 years, you will save $63,000, but spend an extra $201,600. Subtract your savings from your extra expenses, and it costs an extra $138,600 to live in the desert for 50 years. It's almost $2,800 a year extra.
Yeah.
Living off the grid is not cheap, or convenient, or easy. You know that old saying, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So living in the city is easy, so everyone does it.
Yeah. Living off the grid is expensive and inconvenient and dangerous. Trust me, you don't want to do this. You don't want to follow in my footsteps. For those of you romanticizing that getting away from the city and living off the grid will be more economical and you'll save money on utilities, think again. Seriously, I don't suggest anyone lives off the grid. Stay in the city, stick to having neighbors and hospitals and supermarkets and gas stations within 5 minutes of your house. Your lifestyle will be a lot more relaxing and economical. What I'm doing isn't for the faint of heart. Plus, there are spiders.
Spiders?
Yeah, big ones. Desert tarantulas and scorpions and rattlesnakes.
Awesome.
Luthorville is an educational series inspiring kids and adults to become excited about innovations in science and technology by documenting the design and construction of a Mojave Desert homestead called Galatea Meridian. Witness the crazy story of how Rarick Muss-Barnes, an unemployed computer geek and struggling novelist, risks homelessness by spending most of his life savings to build an off-grid dream house in the middle of nowhere. Having purchased vast acres of the Old West, can Rarick find a stable job and create his home before his money runs out? Take a journey where fortitude and a pioneering spirit continue to forge the American dream on the romantic landscape of the American frontier.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Luthorville.
Be sure to share with your friends and family.
And remember, if your ambitions don't scare you,
They aren't big enough.
Met on the Carolinian heading south from D.C. Says he got himself at peace.